This is Edaran Tanjung Motor's most successful model yet, available since the late 1990s, the Nissan Serena. And now in its latest generation, the C28, Nissan Serena is now powered by the brand's latest e-power hybrid system, which gives it 315 Newton meters of torque in a fantastic 7-seater MPV package with powered sliding doors. But is the C28 generation's Nissan Serena still any good given its competition and the available options in the market right now? Let's find out. My name is Edaran, I'm all about the details, and you're watching cDrive. The Nissan Serena is one of my all-time favorite MPVs thanks to its design, practicality, ease of driving, the comfort, the powertrain, all in one package. And this C28 generation of the Nissan Serena is priced between 160 to 180,000 ringgit, which is a very attractive price point because if in Malaysia there are no sub 200,000 ringgit MPVs, a full-size 7-seater MPVs, you either have to go way down low below the 100,000 ringgit mark for a 7-seater, or in between above 200,000 ringgit for your Alphard, Vellfire's and the Chinese MPVs. However, this one right here, it goes up head to head against the Innova Zenix. That's the closest competitor. However, the Nissan Serena one's up against that competitor thanks to its powered sliding doors. Now, the power sliding doors makes a huge difference in terms of practicality, ease of access, ingress, egress for the friends and family. The dimensions of the C28 Serena remains largely unchanged with the C27 generation of the Serena. That's because the Nissan has figured out that this is the perfect size dimensions for Japanese domestic market. Now, remember this, that the Nissan Serena was never meant to be a global or export model. It is a Japan first model, and other countries outside of Japan, namely in Southeast Asia like Malaysia, Thailand, Hong Kong, Singapore, all love this design, this category of car so much that it's available now in our country. Which is why the all-new Serena still retains its dual back doors, meaning you're able to open the top section, the glass deck, separately from the entire tailgate for ease of access to just very quickly grab your loose items, bags and whatnot, or just easy to put in and out of stuff. And having this dual back door makes the opening a lot easier, a lot shorter, especially when you're parked in tight parking spots like this. Seated inside, the cabin gives a very upmarket feel thanks to the center console layout, the steering wheel and the large instrument cluster that measures 12.3 inches in size. And the build quality in here, every touch point just feels and screams quality. The center instrument cluster supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. However, there are not much functions which you can customize within the screen itself. Everything else is all done via the instrument cluster with the car's settings, such as your ADAS, your door lock controls, lighting and of sorts. And on the center here, this entire panel for your climate control. So there are a few things that are touch sensitive, but the more important ones are the temperature controls. They are still a physical rotary, and you get push buttons for your PR and D transmission settings. So if you notice here, there's a D/B. B is used when you want to have a bit more intense regenerative braking, which B stands for battery mode, which will prioritize charging up the batteries when you're driving. And over to the left side here, you'll notice that there's an EV button and an E-pedal. E-pedal means that you're able to drive this in single pedal mode. And EV, when the battery charge is sufficient, the engine, the internal combustion engine, will not wake up when you're in EV mode. Over to the driver's side, the instrument cluster, you're able to customize between two different display settings. This is a more traditional view with the two dials on either side. And then you're able to switch between the different driving information over to the left buttons here. Now, underneath the trip computer, you press the center button, the swivel button, So you're able to display between the different trip settings. Personally, I find that this display view is a little bit of a wasted opportunity because over to the center here, you show a lot of information such as the car takes up the entire bottom section, but it does not tell you your current fuel consumption average and of those sorts. I think it'll be better presented if there's a little bit more information on the either blank sides. Yeah, once you come over to Drive Computer, you're not able to show the e-power drivetrain modes right now. On the left side is where you set up your Nissan ProPilot Assist, which is your list of ADAS, which you're able to press this button here and wake it up. Yeah. My only comment to the positioning of all the buttons in here would be the power sliding door buttons, which are positioned below the steering column, which the driver will have to definitely reach for it to open up the rear passengers. Yeah, this is a little bit of a stretch. Practicality in here is astonishing. Over to the passenger side, you're able to open up here. There's more storage spaces here and a large glove box. And over to the center here, this is a neatly hidden wireless charging tray, Type A, Type C port, and underneath here is where you place your phone. Yeah, once you have it plugged in. Now over to the center console, you might notice that it is quite a simple design. And this is the same as the previous generation C27 Serena, whereby the center turns into a walkway. There's no obstruction so that parents or passengers are able to freely and easily move between the front and the rear seats. In Malaysia, we only get exclusively the 7-seater variants, so 2 + 2 + 3 over to the third row seats. And the center here, there are captain's chairs, and one feature that is very unique to the Nissan Serena that I absolutely love is this. You're able to pull this lever right here and push the seats to join them, separate them all together. Now this sort of flexibility really allows for parents with children, with kids, to move them around, to bring them closer or further apart, just for that flexibility. I love this so much. And each on the rear seats, there's a USB Type-C charging port equipped. So yeah, your passengers will definitely not need to be fighting for power sockets. And when you have the entire seats folded down, you can actually turn this space into a makeshift bed. For the third row passengers, there's a button where you can open and close the power sliding doors for ease of access. And do you know why it's only available on the passenger side? That's because in Japan, the cars are driving on the left side of the road, so this is the safer side to get in and out of. A pro tip in the Serena e-Power is that do not block these air vents underneath the front seats. Now these are actually the vents to pull in cool air routed to the battery. So if you block it up, the battery has a risk of overheating and the car will go into limp mode. So yeah, this is very important to know if you're buying a Nissan Serena e-Power, is not to block these vents. Now setting off in the Nissan Serena e-Power, just by setting off, you're in pure electric mode all the time, because the e-Power setting is whereby the internal combustion engine, the 1.4 litre 3-cylinder petrol engine, acts completely as a charger to charge up the battery pack, which then drives the traction motor and drives the front wheels. And in here, there are a few driving modes which you can play around with. Normal, Eco and Sport, and there's an EV mode and e-pedal function. So e-pedal function in this series hybrid means that you're able to drive it in completely one single pedal, just like in an EV. So you lift off gently and the car will go into retardation very quickly. And in town, just cruising along in the Serena, first thing I noticed is that the suspension is a lot more pliant compared to before. It settles very quickly compared to the previous generation Serena, and this is a good thing because your passengers won't feel that wobble going up and down, that oscillation. Very nice. And it retains all the qualities that the Nissan Serena is very well known for. It's easy to drive, it's smooth, comfortable, and in this generation they've made improvements in terms of not just the presentation of the cabin but also the NVH levels. And it's very clear that they have done a lot to improve the NVH levels. So first thing I noticed is that the road noise coming in from the undercarriage is a lot lesser compared to the previous one. And most importantly is the engine, the noise coming into the cabin, because previously the 2.0 litre naturally aspirated S-hybrid engine drives the wheels, so it's always shouting, screaming for power. But in this one, because you're in electric drive mode most of the time, silence and bliss. Something to note in the e-pedal function is that while it's great in city traffic, when you're coming on downhill sections, e-pedal does not bring the car to a complete stop. So the final 10 kilometers per hour, you still have to be on the brakes, on the physical brakes, to bring the car to a complete stop. And once you're out on the open road, give it a full beans. 315 Newton meters of torque. And wow, the chassis in this MPV, you're able to carry a lot of speed into the corners, yet the passengers do not feel that the car is floaty or unstable, because Nissan has greatly improved what they call it, reduces the motion sickness for the rear passengers. So it's a combination of the ESP, the suspension, the brakes, the damping, all comes into play into creating a more refined ride quality, especially when you're coming into corners, you're going on highways. Just notice my passengers at the back. He does not get thrown or flung around as much in the previous generation C27 Nissan Serena. So yeah, fantastic highway cruiser. Another improvement they've made compared to the previous C27 Serena is definitely in the handling and the body control. So as you're throwing the car into a corner, in the previous one, you feel a little bit of lean towards the rear end. But this one, it's a lot more composed in terms of its body. Not that you're able to do very silly things in this or go very, very silly speeds, but it just creates a much more relaxing environment for not just the driver, but also the passengers on board. Right now, we're just going around Karak Highway. Very relaxing, very easy to drive. And now with the extra power, this is, I believe, a very, very compelling proposition for those who are looking for a family MPV in the sub 200,000 ringgit category. Overall, I think that the all-new Nissan Serena is a recipe perfected over time. Now you see the C27 and Nissan Serena, the previous generation, was one of my favorite MPVs due to its practicality, its layout, the driving feel. And this one, the new generation, just takes it up to an entirely whole new level with its interior, the layout, the materials used, and most importantly, the e-Power powertrain that just transforms the driving experience. And being a 7-seater MPV, this is a car that you'll get to enjoy driving it thanks to the enhanced chassis, the body control. It's just a very stable MPV for the family. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what are your thoughts of this new look of the Nissan Serena and would you buy one? My name is Adrian, thanks for watching cDrive and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more detailed videos like this. Bye bye.